There we go. What's up, guys? I don't know why I'm not getting video, though. Ah, there we go. Now it works. Okay, so that does work. Okay. Yeah, I was just playing around with Google Hangouts to see if I could figure it out. So just playing around with stuff. I don't need that. I don't need that. Just gonna try to see if I can do other things while I'm doing this. Yeah, that's just my logo. I have my camera turned off. But I can go and share my screen and stuff, which I'm gonna do. I'm gonna work on a design here in a minute. To kind of play around with an idea or a idea that someone had. Where am I going? I'm going here. Audio is good. Cool. All right. That's good. I like that. Gonna see if. See if Oz's are on. Hey, Randy Collins, how you doing? Let's see who else. See if Lemon's on. There's that one. See if Lemon is on right now. Hey, Shane.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, it works. All right. I've taken approximately 2 minutes and 35 seconds to try to figure this out. And look, it works.
If Novus can figure it out, anybody can figure it out. But he had to have somebody show him.
Like it was actually easier than I thought. I guess. I thought that there was like a lot more steps that I had to go through to get it live, but I guess not.
No, it ain't too hard.
It's just kind of deking around with the different settings is what kind of threw me off.
You working on any project?
I am. I just actually checked the mail and I got my 2 spools of copper in. I should probably open the box and double check that, but yeah, I got my 2 spools of copper in, and so what I was going to work on today was an idea that a couple of us in the community had a while ago. I just really haven't done anything with it. And it is for the large and small dates for the Lincoln sets. There is a number of large and small dates like the 1960s, the
82.
1970s, the 1974s, and the 82s, to have something for those types to be put into one holder as a kind of a reference set. So that's kind of the idea. Um, but like there's a couple of different ways that I could play around with it. Um, that I was thinking of like just tinkering with just to see how it turns out. Because the easiest way obviously would be, if there's a large or small date, then just have two holes, one small, one large, and that would be your reference set. But then the other thing that I kind of thought about is that not only to have that space for the coin to fit into, but what about an actual like reference, like profile? So like on the we'll say the 82, the shape of the number. I almost said letter. That was bad. The shape of the number, where the two on the large date, it comes straight down and it's got a fat bottom on it. What if I put something like that the on the the holder, the whatever that piece is, so that not only do you have like the coin reference area to put the coin in, but also you have the profile so that it's more apparent. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Be easier
So,
for a lot of people to figure out what they got then too. Because some people can't figure out which is the small date and which is the large date.
well, like the 60s, I figured out how to do the large and small dates based off of the zero. It's like it's easy for me to tell, once I look at it, because the large date looks like an actual zero, a circle, and then the small date looks like an oval, it looks like an egg. But some people look at the six and see where the top of the six is curled over, or where it's kind of open. So like on that kind of aspect, I don't know what would be the best way. I mean, I could still do the six and the zero to show the difference. The 74 is really minor,
Yeah.
because there's not a lot of mintage numbers that really kind of differ between the large and small date. And really it's the seven that really, like, it's twice as thick, like it kind of stands out. But then like, and then the 82 again, like it's not a significant difference as far as mintage. But with seven different varieties in the 82 between the small date, large date, Philadelphia, Denver, and zinc and copper, like there's just a lot going on.
Yeah, they are. And
So,
it's funny that the book that you put the coins in only has the 82 that has the small date that you can put a small date in. It ain't
uh,
got the 64. It ain't got the 74.
right. So the 82, like the women albums, they will have all seven varieties for the 82s.
Yeah.
But they don't have the large and small for the 74s, because I guess they feel it's insignificant. Um, and then the 60s, let's see, I should have a book in here somewhere. My pile of mess that I got going on here. That's 75 to 2013. Let me check my other book. Lincoln sets 41 to
It helps
74.
kids too to figure out which is the small and the large date.
For what?
It'd be a good teaching reference for like a stream too.
So on the 1960, they only have 1960 and 1960D. They do not have small or large. And then I'm looking at Whitman number 9030, just a little cheapo $4 albums.
Yeah.
The 74 also is just the 74 and the 74D, 74D, 74S. No large or small dates on those. Then when you go to the 75 to 2013, the 82s, you have 82 copper large date, 82 copper small date, 82 zinc large date, zinc small date, copper large date, copper or zinc large date, zinc small date, all for the 82s. So they have all of the 82s, but just none of the other ones. And especially, like, I would think that, especially the 1960 one, that would be a significant piece to have, you know, technically, what is it, four coins? Because you've got the large and small date for
Yeah.
both Denver and Philadelphia. So that would need 4 spots.
You'd think they'd have made them all like that. That they'd had a spot for all the small dates in both and all the large dates.
Yeah, but at least in the like the 9030 and the 9033, that's not what it is.
Nope.
Hold on one second. Oh, there we go. Okay. Give me your box. Give me a box of goodies. Survey says, I hope they got this one right. I've never had any issues with this seller before, so I anticipate that it's going to be good to me. Yep, we're good.
I got a package in the mail today.
Yeah.
From Cajun Coin Hunter. He's sending the girls some BU pennies.
Oh, nice.
And the whole package was ripped.
Oh no.
And they put it in a bag. The post office company did.
Yeah.
And the coins were still in there.
Well, that's good.
But it ripped the whole package.
Oh.
And he had it put where you weren't supposed to put it through that machine. And I bet you that's what they did.
Oh, the machinables, yeah.
But they put it in a bag and sent it, and everything was still in it.
That part at least is good, but that's got to be frustrating when
Especially when you got it on your letter or your paper thing saying not to do it.
Right. Let's see. What am I looking for? I'm looking for.
Hey, boy.
Okay, I'm gonna do this one. That one minimized. I made a kind of a revolver stand, just a really quick, ugly one, and took it down to the gun shop to test it out on some revolvers, and yeah, I got some work to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like I knew it was gonna be ugly, but I mean, there was just a lot of things that that I just really hadn't accounted for. Like it could fit most of the snub nose ones, but like the full length ones had an issue, and then they had one on there that was like the old, like 6-shooter, like the old style, like cowboy one, the long barrel, and it wasn't even close. Like it couldn't even sit on the stand. So I just had a basic block on the back, and what I did to change it was I scalloped the back edge, so it's more. It looks like that basically a cylinder is missing out of it, so that the side wall of that cylinder, of of the gun can kind of sit on that back, on that back ledge a little bit better than than a square, because reasons.
Yeah, you could sell them on here probably too.
Oh,
There's a
probably.
lot of gun community and a lot of people in the corn community
Let's do this
gun crazy. We all like our guns.
one. Well, and
Even
it's just it was different ways of presenting them.
yeah,
When I have the basic format, and then when I know that that particular format works, then I can change it. Just I can modify it as I need to be. And there's a couple of them that they have like a flip up stand at the top of the barrel, like, goes through, but it doesn't sit like the same way aesthetically as the other types.
yeah.
So it's not the same. It's not the same, man. Not the same.
You might have to make different sizes because they could make there's smaller guns, there's bigger guns.
Right, and that's why I'm looking for something that is like that can be able to fit all these different sizes of guns, because I there's no point in making 32 different
Yeah,
varieties of one stand, because you never know you know what what kind of revolver that they're going to get in. So let's do this one. Just trying to get my basic setup here. Doughboy does his own gun repair and makes parts.
nobody can do about anything with metal. He's about like you with that 3D printer.
It's not a bad skill to have. I'm just saying.
He just shows up and something happens.
That's a amen, man. I sent links to Oz and Lemonhead. I didn't really expect anybody was gonna come on, so I didn't mean it was just gonna be that I was gonna throw it up, and whatever happens happens. So
Come on, talk to you. I don't care.
let's see.
I ain't busy right now anyway.
Should be a way to show my screen, right? Okay,
There
there's
should
that.
be a button, but I don't know which button that is yet.
Screen share. How about that one?
Yeah,
How
that
about
should be it.
application window? Oh, look at that. Bam. Oh, look at that. Look how beautiful that is. I don't know how that's going to come across. Well, decently garbage. Yeah, that didn't come up bad.
No.
Oh, cool. All right. So I should be able to move this around, and that's the greatest thing about having two computers, is that I can put my live stream up on my other computer, and have it muted, and then watch what I'm doing. So yeah, that actually is not
That's
actually
why I
that
just use
bad.
my phone when somebody does this Hangouts, and I do the Hangouts on the phone and use my other one just to watch see what's going on in the chat and everything. My
Whatever.
computer.
Okay, so this is a basic design that I had done um, originally, like a few months ago. And the concept of this was to have small date Philly, small date Denver, large date Philly, large date Denver. And this is the same size as the inserts
Mhm.
that go 2x2 acrylics. So the theory is that once you got four coins together, you could put them together and put them in an acrylic, so that you would have like a secured reference set. Um, but this isn't going to work for all dates, though. for all large and small dates.
True.
I guess technically it's going to work for the 60 and the 74, but it will definitely not work for the 82.
No, because they got every one of them.
Right. So,
Every variety you can have. Then you have to weigh to make sure you got the copper.
right. So on the kind of the, I think I'm going to use this one. I'm just going to copy this one. That's what I like about this program is that I just, instead of having to rebuild everything, I could just copy it out and then tinker with it. So I know that I've already set these holes to sit down, for the coins to sit down inside of these ridges. What's up, Uper? If you want to come up here, Amy, you're more than welcome to. I can send you a link.
She could come up here and she could tell us if there are any small dates, big dates in Canadian coins. I bet you.
Oh yeah. Oops.
That's the Canadian coin genius in my book.
Absolutely.
Is Amy.
Amy's a rock star. So the concept that I had are these. Okay, these are glued together.
She
Okay,
said
Amy wants to come up. All right. Let me remember what I'm doing here. Okay, so I'm gonna do this one, and then I'm gonna do. Where's the thing? I need the thing that does the other thing. Where is that? Shane, where's it at? Where's the tool that does the thing?
all you have to do is send her an email to her.
I know, but I was trying to find. I thought
Yeah.
I had my email up, but I couldn't find it. That's entirely too easy, Shane.
Just copy the link and send it to her.
Knock it off. Hey, Amy, I sent you an email.
Sometimes I know stuff. Sometimes I try to act like I don't know nothing.
You just show up.
Yeah. Just show up and act like
Show
you
up,
do,
weird
and act
stuff
like you
happens.
don't.
Just like who knows? All right, so I'm gonna use the same concept. So one of the things that I kind of thought about, and I can put radius on this because I think the radius corners look better than garbage. That so say I have like I want to do like a little bit of reference on maybe most of the sets, I guess. Or like I can make this, I could technically make this twice as thick and do um like 60 74 on one side and then do 82 on the other side if I didn't put the holes all the way through, but that's getting kind of ahead of ourselves.
Or just make it big.
So the kind of the concept that I just kind of had in mind was at least one variation is that there would just be holes to put the coins in, and they would sit down on the little lips inside the holes.
Yeah.
These would be tight enough that it would be friction fit. So, but I have another version where I made some nice tabs and stuff to put on the back. So if I, had some kind of decent context for this one, then I could just import those tabs in. It's kind of like the PCGS or the graded tabs where they're the graded slabs hold the coin from like the side by the rim. But I designed like the bottom half of that, so that you could push the coin all the way back to these 4 tabs, and it would show more of the coin than this would.
Yeah.
Because this would hide like a lot of the rim, especially on the reverse.
Hey, Amy.
Got an Amy?
Hello, hello.
What's up?
Not much. The boys had school called off because of the weather. So we went to, I don't have an LCS, so we went to the pawn shop and I scored a good few things for auction on Monday. So I'm pretty pleased.
Nice.
So
Cool.
You want to sell my stuff too?
you want me to?
Because I got to sit in a big bag down here.
Oh, nice. I got a couple seated half dollars, an SLQ. What else did I get? I got some older Victoria 1 pennies from the UK, and yeah, some pretty cool stuff. So
Okay, so off the top of your head, small date, large date, 60, 74, 82. There's another one in there.
oh, let me think.
For the
70.
Lincolns. 70, yeah. So it would be 60, 70, and 74, and then how would we do 82 though? Would be the other thing. Because we could I could do it the 2 holes, and then you could just put whatever example, either Philadelphia or Denver, for the small date, large date, because that's not going to matter. So 82. Um, uh, a bunch, just sets basically, that I've put together. I've got nickel sets, I've got penny sets, some of the books, like the 75 to 2013. I have several of those. I've got some nickel albums done. I've got a couple SMS sets. I have a couple of my Westward Nickels things that I had put together. I've got some of those left. So yeah, I got it in a bag because I have no more room on my desk, like zero. That's why I started printing out coin tubes, because I got I got no room. I got none. Like my desk is full. It is full. Like I even to the point where like I started printing out more the coin boxes for the 2x2s, and I was gonna stack some more in there, but I'm almost at the point where I just get another one of those big sorter bins that I got, and then just start putting them in there. And I just it's getting kind of crazy. It's getting kind of crazy. What's up, Shane?
Amy, I can spell, laugh out loud. What are you talking about, Amy?
I can spell really good. My fingers, on the other hand, they can't spell so good.
Paula's here. She was trying to spell Paula. Now I see what she's doing.
I kept screwing it up.
That's another woman. It's a genius at coins. Her and Paula.
Paula's come pretty far in a short amount of time. Like she is a smart whip, and she has picked up a ton of stuff in a short amount of time. I'm proud of Paula. Okay, so I need to do this one. So copy. Okay, so there's kind of a basic, excuse me, basic layout of kind of how I want it to. Hey, NG coins, how I want it to look. I kind of want it to have more space, like in here. So these kind of sit out. Like I might have to make this longer. Because right now I'm sitting at what am I doing? 112 millimeters. So it's about, was that 13? Oh, about 12 centimeters, about 7 inches right now across. Oh, what? No. 112 millimeters. Oh, yeah. No, it's shorter than that.
You have to make it longer or make 4 more squares down one.
It's going to be okay. It's only going to be like 4 inches across. So it's not that big. Not that big, and it doesn't necessarily have to be though. But I would like it big enough where like it can, like it's not going to be very like wobbly, or it's, like if that makes sense. So trying to figure out the best way to do, like I know that they have like text and numbers that I can play with. So I was thinking about doing the numbers aspect with the like the 0, because the 0 is like I can make it, more oval like this one, or I could space it out. Then it makes it look like weird. So do I try to use a letter or do I try to make it? That would be the question. Because like both the O and the 0 have like this wide, this like thick, this thick edge around it, and it doesn't need to be that thick. I could modify this one, or I could. I'm probably just better off just making my own piece out of it. So if we were gonna make a 0, I don't need this to be. So that would be a large date. And let's see, this defines as, so let's do 15. 15. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. Let's something like this. I just need to make that go all the way through. And that's like the roughest large date that I can make. This doesn't have to be super fantastic, but I know. Okay. Oh, that's so off.
So this is going to be a holder for small and large date varieties?
That's what I was kind of like. I've been kind of, back of the head idea for a while. Jeff Dunn sent me an email, kind of wondering if I had progressed on it at all. So I was trying to come up with just something. I don't know, like there is not going to be any like perfect way to do it, and I know that, but I would still like to have something. So like my kind of the two ideas that I had mulling around in my head was one that just had the coins straight up. It would be labeled for each year, and you would have a large date and a small date for each year. Obviously the 82 with 7 different varieties. Just specifically talking about the large and small dates, the it wouldn't matter which one you used. So that would be one where it's just like a flat plate, and it's got slots for the large and smalls in each year. The second part that I had, or the second idea that I had, is kind of the same thing, only then having the profile of the large and small date as a reference on the plate, so that it actually was a profile that kind of was sticking up, more like a relief. So for instance, this would be the equivalent of a large date, which goes on the bottom. And then I would copy that and move this up. And then to make a small date, you're looking for something like that, so that you have the coin. But if you just wanted a quick reference as far as like a key pickup, then you can look at these individual reference pieces. So the 60, I could do the 6 and the O, because they look differently. To do them accurately, I can actually take a picture of the small and large, and basically extract out the images and make them 3-dimensional to import them in. That would take me a few hours. But I was just trying to think of something like what's going to be the best way that is going to be user friendly for them to be able to build their own references. Because say somebody wants to build one, and instead of going through all their coins and then looking at online references, which there are a million of, and I'll be the first one to admit that. But what if we could put some of that information in this holder, we'll call it, so that somebody could just use this holder and build their own set.
I gotcha.
They could build sets and sell them in.
Yeah,
as a complete small and large set dates for each.
Now, some of these are going to be a little bit more difficult, like the 1970. But again, like, I can take those reference images that are everywhere online and, basically just isolate the dates, and then, extract the shapes out from those pictures, and then import them in as three-dimensional objects, just like all of these dates that are sitting up here, and put them on this plate, and it would print out like that. So I mean, that would be one thing. But if there's an easy way to do it, like the 1960, I learned how to do the 1960s by the 0. Some people learned how to do the 1960s from the 6. So do I just put the 0 on there, or do I put the 6 and the 0 on there?
You know what I would do? Just a thought is, if you want to do that, put the whole date on there. And I don't know if you can do this. You'll have to tell me. But for say 1960, highlight or make, if you did it all in red, make the 6 and the 0 blue.
I don't have a dual extruder.
No.
So
okay.
Whatever color that I would print, like I could do gray.
Is what everything would have to be.
Yeah, and everything would be the same color. So for something like this, the color is just display on here. Like it's
right.
Like,
okay, well then, yeah, I think maybe just using the numbers from the date, or have those numbers raised. higher up. You know, just some way to differentiate which numbers you're really wanting to pay attention to.
Right, because like I could do, like I could have the date like across the top right here. Like I could make this plate bigger and
Right.
put the date across the top so that you would know these are 1960s, these are 1970s, and these are 1974s. Then I can I can put the date as it appears as a small date like down the side. So you're looking at it like this. So you're looking at small date, large date, or I could put them. I mean, you know, because I don't want to put. I don't know, like what's. I could label them with like 1960 going like this way, just across here, right? So that these two would be your 1960s, and then I could label the 1960 small date in the correct font above this one, and then 1960 large date above this one. So does that make sense?
Yep.
So that instead of the actual date being up here, like it's going to be as far as just a date reference. So that it would look like this, and then I would have let's do this. Let's do copy. Obviously, my spacing is going to have to be chilled a bunch. 60. So something like this where I can like I have the reference of the date, and it doesn't have to be right here. It could be on this side too. Or I could just not have it at all and just have the layout of the 1960 small date and then the 1960 small date so that it would be designated right above the hole that it goes into.
Well, I think that would work. You just have to make sure that you put somewhere in there, you know, large and small.
Well, but these labels would be the actual form of the small date and the actual form of the large
Right,
date.
but some people don't know which, is what I'm saying. So adding the word large and small.
Or at least the L and the S. Like
Yeah.
What if I did
right beside of it or beside the hole on one side? Just a little bitty one is all you'd have to have. You wouldn't have to have it real big.
If I just did, I mean, I can make this any number of ways, and that's why I wanted to get a kind of a general idea of what would kind of everybody be feeling of, you know, how this thing is laid out. So let's like 4. Man, this is all kinds of dirty right now. All kinds of dirty. Something like this, and I could have small date right here, and
Yeah.
large date right here.
Yeah.
So that you knew that all of
that would
these were
work.
small date, or I can do it the other way where it's up here and it says small date on it, and
I
then
like the middle.
another one down here that's then it has large date, so that everything underneath here. But I kind of like the separator because then you know all of this is going to be small date.
Small. Right.
Yeah.
Yep. I agree.
And then these would be the actual forms of what the small date and large date looks like, so
There you
that
go.
you have the date, that what it actually looks like, and then the slot and then the same thing for down here.
I like it. I want one.
Yeah, as soon as I can figure it out.
You can make sets, Amy, and sell them on auctions.
Well, you're well, I guess you could put in the 60 Denver. I guess it wouldn't matter if it was Philly or not.
No, it wouldn't matter which ones.
I feel like you're going to collapse.
You can make one 60 set or Denver sets and one Philly sets.
Oh, your 60 Philly small date is your unicorn. So that would probably be a Denver. I mean, but if you have the coins to do this as an extra setup, then by all means.
I've got so many 82s.
I can build probably a minimum of 25 full sets of 82. Right now.
Somebody sent the girls a set of 60s today of small dates.
Yes, Jeff Dunn. This is what we were talking about. It's something like this, like just a lot of it is just going to be spacing, and then like I don't want this thing to be like a sheet of paper. Like it would be cool if it was roughly the size of a mint set, or like a proof set. Yeah, proof set. What's the size of a proof set? I do that.
Let me see. I got one right here.
Because how cool would that be? Is if I can find some proof set.
Do you want millimeters or you want inches?
I'm running millimeters right now, so that would be great. So 35. 34.
Okay. The proof set in the box is sitting at
No, just the hard case.
138. So let's see what case is.
I got 13.5, 13.6 centimeters long.
Yeah.
So it's 136.
135, 136.
And that's for the full case. So, and then
I got about 84, 85.
Yeah, I got 85.
The other way.
Huh. Well, that would be kind of interesting though to see if and that's the full case. That's not talking about the part that is actually inside the case. Because wouldn't that be really cool if I could fit this inside the shell of a proof case?
Yeah, that'd be neat.
I'm sure it's possible because the actual inside of it is. God, I'm looking at the wrong side again. I got 70 by 120, 121, 122. So 70 by 122. So what does that look like? 70 by 122. 70 by 122.
You got plenty of wiggle room.
It was already at 70. So this is the actual size of the piece that is inside the proof case.
Nice.
So I could actually just shift the stuff around and I could fit this inside a proof case.
That's awesome.
Can you get those things like empty? I guess that
I don't
should
know.
be kind of a thing.
Let me
look.
If you can like split them apart without like shattering them.
That I have not figured out.
Some
Without
people take
breaking the
hammers and
ever-living
everything
crap
to
out
it.
of them. Oh.
Anybody want to sell me a cheap proof set? I think I've got a couple of 71s that I could probably break out. For the concept of, can I open it without breaking it? So this wouldn't stick up that far. The actual way that I would probably design this piece is if I did it like the grading sets where I actually set it in. Let's see, not very far.
Well, I'm finding the snap lock cases
Yeah, the little ones.
that you can pop the inserts out of. How big are they? Let's see. Does it say?
See, the way that I designed the grading scales is with this like this ridge cut in the middle of it, and that seems to kind of make it a little bit more flexible, so that when you put the coins in, it doesn't like it doesn't push the plastic out and deform it so much. So that having this in there kind of takes some of the deformation out. Plus, it looks really neat when you look at it. When you look at it straight on, because it's a very straight, clean line, and without having something exposed or raised up, that it is a definitive thing. See what is being made by Harris.
That's what I'm
And
looking
it
at
does
right
make
now.
snap tights. Can you buy those things
They
empty?
have 2x3, 3x5. Yeah, you can. And they're just like the Westward Journey series ones. Wizard Coin Supply has them. Or I'll post it in the chat.
I think I have. Oh, I
Oops.
was looking at a different one. Because I've got another one that I ended up getting my. It's called the Collector Store, that I ended up getting my 2x2 snaps in. Let's see what they have. Flips, coin box.
How did I just do in my proof case? There it is.
Paper flips,
3x5.
big flips, small rigid. Oh, that's a currency holder. Okay, that doesn't work. You said Wizard?
Yeah, I just posted it in the chat. Those are the ones by Harris. I'm going to see what the size is compared to. I got a 2019 proof case that I'm using.
2x3, 3x5.
Which those are 5, just a hair over 5 1/4 by 3 1/4. So they're just a little bit smaller than a.
Yeah, but if they're just a little bit smaller as far as interior to the proof cases, then I mean, look how much extra room that I have to flex this stuff around.
Right. Well, I would get, because they make 2x3 and they make 3x5. So, but the 3x5s are $3.69 a piece, which you might be able to find them cheaper on like Amazon or something. They have really big ones
The
too.
proof cases are 3 1/4 by
5 1/4.
5 1/4. So yeah, they would be the 3x5s.
You might want to order a couple of them and then measure the interior on those if you wanted to do something like that.
Right.
Let's see,
what's the specs on?
Print a bunch of them out.
I mean, it doesn't have to be a hard case like that. I think it would be awesome to have a hard case like that, but that is like significant overkill for 8 pennies.
Right, it's expensive, even at $1.49.
Yep, they're high. Just for
But
experience.
I'm sure there's plenty of people who would buy them if they had the coins in them already, and even if not.
Well, and that would be the point, is that, you know, if I'm
So,
putting this together, then I would be the one that would be putting the coins in.
'cause there's a lot of people likes just to make their own sets, like Alden. Or like sets like that too.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that's
in there.
and I mean, and the other thing is that, you know, I could actually cut down the amount of material that I'm using, um, by not setting these things up as thick as this is, because this is designed right now so the coin fits into a lip that is halfway through this plate, and I could like literally just make it a straight plate with straight holes in them and just put the coins in, and then, you know, have the covers that clip over the top, so they would be kind of loose in there, so they would move around theoretically. um hmm. um or, you know, or do I just design it so that it's roughly the same size? I mean, I wouldn't mind if this was the same size, you know, as, you know, as what would sit in one of the proof cases. Just because it would be something that, you know, that would fit into people's collections without having to get a different size box. Like it could just be put in. They have they've got proof holder slots in the sheets that go in binders, that will fit these. That kind of concept where, you know, the size is effectively the same as what already exists.
You could get hard plastic, like in some of them things, and just put over the top of it yourself without making it all the way over, just over the whole piece from one end to the one end instead of covering it up completely. Like setting it down in there, you want just a piece of plastic hard over top of it on each side if you wanted to have it open
Yeah,
on
I could
both
do
ends.
I could do plexi, and
Yeah,
I can get some plexi to do that. That wouldn't be like a kind of like a backyard slab setup.
yeah.
That wouldn't be a bad idea either. And just have screws.
Hmm.
Hmm. I don't know. What would you guys rather have? Like, for a reference set like this, do you want like that the most basic that you can get out of it? And this goes for everybody in the chat. You know, the most basic, you know, it's its own thing that you put coins into and it holds them. Or if, you know, would you want something that is more, that you build it once, you put it together, and then it stays like that?
I like the storage box idea.
I like some kind of protection on it, because I think, especially if you're going to take the time to build a reference set like this, then it's going to stick. Like, it should be something that is, you know, that's good, I guess.
Yep.
Give me just 1 minute. I'll be right back.
I think it's supposed to be a bit of both, Mike.
All right. Okay, so what do we come up with? It depends on if it is a teaching aid or collection. Well, I guess the opportunity exists that variations of it could be made. It could be just a basic one that is the teaching tool, and then the modified one that could be used for the collection. But would you really want a collection of small large date though?
Well, not necessarily, but you could always keep that same design and use it for other coins.
What other coins would you put in?
Well, I don't know. Now you're catching me off guard, and I gotta come up with answers.
Right?
I was just saying. I mean, if you had, I don't know. See, there's so many other coins, but I mean, let's see.
I mean, the overall design, with the size and everything, would go great if you were going to put in a set number. Like it looks like with the spacing, possibly up to 10 coins that you could fit into this setup. But specifically as what the original idea was, is that you would have a reference set of small and large date. But at least if you used, decent like AU coins and then built this and then put it in some kind of protection, then that would be like your go-to. Like it's not going to get scuffed, it's not going to get, the coins themselves aren't going to get damaged, and you will always have a really decent set to look at. So I'm kind of half and half, because I mean, if I was going to design this to fit inside of something, then I have to design it differently. Like I can't have anything standing up unless I made the overall plate thinner. And a lot of the details would be in cuse, versus being raised devices. If this was going inside of something. Now, if it was just sitting up by itself, then I could use a combination of both. I could use the raised devices, and the holders themselves being in this, in this plate. What do you guys think?
No, I like it the way it is.
What's my 70?
I mean, it's going to have to be fairly thin if you have raised dates to fit in the hard cases.
Right. Specifically, if I'm going to put them in hard cases, then I have to design this differently.
Right. Then,
it's going
to have to be thinner.
Yeah. I mean, I just have to drop everything down and then change the rest of the stuff to in-cuse design versus raised design. Now,
Right.
as the idea, of a reference set that is designed to be used, then the letters and everything would be raised so that it is still that, I mean, at some point a tactile reference for for the dates.
But what's going to allow you more options? Having it raised or having it encased?
Raised. Because I don't have to raise it that much. I mean, I could raise it, 1 or 2 millimeters and have a significant standoff from the rest of the plate. And the other thing is that this plate is, I think it's only 3 millimeters thick. So that's, what's basic
That's
size?
pretty thin.
It is pretty thin. So
you're looking at a maximum of
a quarter inch of no, that's quarter, eighth, like an eighth of an inch.
Yeah.
So
if you made it thicker and made the holes the size of the capsules for the pennies, you could use them capsules and slide them in each hole and have them in the pennies safely in something and still have that open and not have to have a cover and have a reference to the what you're wanting to have a reference for.
yeah, you could. The only, I guess, issue that I would have with that is, something like this would be, I don't know, $3 is basically what I would charge or something like this. So $3 for me printing out the plate, and then another $2 or $3 for the capsules.
Yeah,
for 8 cents. Like, I mean, but I that's one of those things that with the basic design, I could do that. Like if somebody wanted something specifically like that, then I could absolutely do that. And I would take the dates and put them on the side and increase the hole size so that they could drop in, and then they would have, and they would have the dates across there, and still be able to reference the same thing. And then they could put capsules in to fit. I have no problem in doing that if somebody wants to go that route. But I think as far as a the more basic that it could be, I think that would be better. But it's just like some of the design elements is kind of a toss up for what people want to see. Do they want to see, like what if I can't get the letters to show up exactly? Can I just put like the 6 and the O to show the difference between the large and small, or do I have to put the entire 1960? The 74s are going to be kind of interesting because really the only difference is the thickness in the 7 that gives it away. Now the 82s are going to be a lot easier because they have significantly different designs. Like this would be basically the equivalent of a large date. This font right here is perfect. Because I just have to put a little bar on this to make this thicker, and then right there you got a large date.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like I still feel feel like I'm stuck. Like what would be the best way to get all of the basic elements in one thing without having to make 47 designs? What if I could do copy this and then rotate it? Then oops, I didn't want to do that. just trying to get some reference lines in here because I can see that these things are all like kinds of sideways, and it bothers the heck out of me. Because like I could see this a lot closer than that, even without the line. I'm just like, no, just make it somewhere in the middle.
You're like that too? If it's
Oh,
like
I am.
even a hair off, you're like,
Dude, terrible. Like even this being this close to the circle here, even though I know it's not the same, like it's painful. Like to the point where if I was going to print this, I would design these bars at 35 millimeters, and then put them next to each other so that I could find exactly where the center was to put this bar. Like that's what I would do.
yeah,
I know that it's a ton of extra work for not anything, but like no, like so in this setup, like I have space. Should I do the Philadelphia and Denver on the 82s?
I don't think so, because it's going to be the same. It's the same regardless.
Or do I just have these like really spaced out?
And just give them some room.
'82.
TJ, are you going to have a clear cover over this?
I will not. But that's not to say that people can't put their own on there. Ken says the 82 works well as a set of its own. All 7, make it 8 with the proof. Add a frilly edge design.
Frilly?
Yeah, define frilly.
I want bling. I want a diamond encrusted one.
You want rhinestones?
Bling
Yeah.
bling.
I'll make a
rhinestone.
custom rhinestone. Like
He wants the letters made out of diamonds. Or the numbers, I mean.
Please.
Well, then you better pay me a lot more for this. $3 is not going to cut it.
Come on.
She wants the case made out of silver or gold, though.
Yeah, right.
But go that big. We're gonna have diamonds, silver, and everything.
I actually found we rented a shop from the county here, and one of the buildings, the people, I don't think it's theirs, but they have there's bags and bags of sandblasting material. And I was looking at it and I'm like, why is it so red? And I looked and it's all garnets.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, holy crap. I told my husband, I said, we are taking these with, because I could make some cool stuff with garnet sand, basically.
Something like that, and I can get rid of those, so that you have a large date and a small date in each of the years. Oh, come on, move over.
You need a program that just push and makes everything even.
Well, there are programs that I would love to have, but they are stupidly expensive. Like the one that I really want is this AutoCAD one, and the subscription on it, because it's also subscription based, of course. Just the subscription on it is like $1,200 a month.
Oh, good Lord.
I know. I was like, oh god, heart attack. Oh god. Oh. I was like, nope. Okay. But this is Tinkercad, which is made by the same company, which is AutoCAD. So again, this has its limitations, but it's still one of those things that I can generally make stuff work because 99% of all the stuff that I've designed with this program. So
is
if
Tinkercad free?
Tinkercad is free,
Sweet.
right? So
Mhm.
if I can figure out a way, to design stuff, in here, yeah, it might take me a little bit longer, or there's some things that I have to struggle with in order to get it to do what I want it to do. But I can still get it to do just that.
What you needed to do
Yeah,
without having the expensive junk.
without me
If
going
you just
overboard
go pay
on.
$1,200 for something, I just make a mold and do like Amy wanted, put diamonds and everything else. That
I know,
much.
right?
Figure out, write our own programs to make our own.
Tinkercad, Petercad, Captain Hook Cat. um so with everybody that's we lost a bunch. With everybody that's in the chat right now, would you want something like this for a large and small date reference set? And basically the coins would sit into the little grooves that are halfway through this set. The raised portions of the dates, I'm going to take the actual dates from pictures and import them so it would look exactly what it would look like on the coin.
I want one.
I think people would. Because they could keep them and show their kids. And then, like Ken, he could use the teaching process on his channel.
Yeah, I think they're a really good reference set.
Jeff is
Anybody and everybody.
I mean, because there's a lot of people don't understand what one is to the other. They just think
Right.
it's a 1960. Everything is, and everything's a 1970.
I can pick a 60 and an 82 small and large dates out easy. No problem. But I really haven't even delved into the 74s and the 70s. They mess with me. I cannot.
the 70s are like
70s screw with me something fierce.
the 70s is the hardest one for me to figure out, but like the 60s is easy for me off the zero. The 74s are really easy because of the thickness of the 7 is the one that gives it away. And then the 82s are they're like night and day.
Right.
But it's that 70 because the one you're looking for is when it loops around and it points back to like the middle of the 7 versus the bottom of the 7. And I'm like, Jiminy Christmas. But the other thing is that when you look at the actual 7, that on a small date, the top of it like is lined up with the top of the 0, and the large date, the 0 sits higher. Like it's really a funky setup.
Right. But then on the 70s as well, you have the majority of the ones I find seem to all be machine doubled. So you're going, okay, so was it supposed to be up there? Or, like,
right?
what the hell?
Like it
And
was
yeah,
a 70s as small date until it had machine doubling, and that made it a large date. Does that work?
right, exactly. Like, what is going on here?
Ken, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm going to take what the dates actually look like from pictures and then extract the dates out of them exactly how they look, and then import them into this and put them where the date placeholders are. So that not only do you have a reference of what the date is, but what the date actually physically looks like of what you're looking for. Just magnified a little bit. I guess enlarged, not magnified, enlarged. Smokey says, "Nice, take my money." I could
Yeah, because a
do.
lot of times when I'm penny roll hunting, I'll take 72s and I'll set them aside, or a 71 and I'll set it aside because they look more like the small date 70. The
Oh, right.
7 does,
Yeah.
or I mean the 9. So I'll keep that to look at them, but that's only if I remember to do it.
Yeah, I've gotten
That
to
would
the
help
point
you.
where I just go and I set the coin like under my scope and I look at it and I've already determined what it was.
Lincoln. He put the email up for you.
All right, Ken. I'll
Bye,
see you
Ken.
in a few hours, right?
But
My
corn row
calculations are
hunting,
correct.
if you had that, you could look under the scope and you could tell and automatically know if you had one or not.
Well, yeah, and that would be the point of making the hour and a half. Okay, yeah, I thought it was within a couple of hours, and that would be the biggest reasons is to put the dates, as they would actually appear on the coins, large and above the holes, so that even if you didn't have a microscope, then
You
you
can still
have
tell.
an enlarged version of what you're looking for. So maybe you have just a loop and not a microscope. Then you still have that larger version of exactly what it is.
See, my nieces try to find stuff like that because I got it wrote down for them. And sometimes they have trouble because they don't understand exactly what it is. And something like that would help them out a lot.
Yeah, my mom started looking through them and she's, well, what do I need to look for in pennies? And I'm going, what years? Where do you want to start? There's so many. So she just tells me she's going to look for whatever looks funky. I'm like, oh, great. She throws me stuff that looks like it's been run over 80 times.
And then, are there anything Canadian that's got small dates, large dates, or anything, Amy?
Oh, yeah. There's all kinds. A 1969 Canadian dime has a large and small date. If you look at a 1968, the date is fairly large on the dime. And if you look at a 1970, the date is tiny. Like I have a hard time seeing them without my glasses on. So there's each. You want to find the large date on that one. However, finding the large date on that is,
One in a
it's like an
million.
$11,000 coin in VG type coin. So
you
it's
have one of those, don't you?
Yeah.
If she did, she'd have it in the damn
Yeah.
permanent house.
That's the only, I think, large and small date that I'm aware of. But there's a lot of large bead, small bead varieties, near and far, things like
Are there
that.
any errors in the pennies or anything?
Oh, there's tons.
Oh yeah,
Because I don't know nothing about the Canadians at all.
Oh yeah. You're 53, 1953, 54, and 55. You got shoulder fold, no shoulder folds. You get a lot of die clashes, which are called hanging. They're called hangers, and it just depends on which numbers at the end of the date. A lot of them in the 50s and 60s. So if it's a 1963 and it's got the die clash, it's called a hanging 3. If it's a 61, it's a hanging 1. Stuff
Those
like
ones that are
that.
really cool is when you have triple hangers.
Yeah,
Those
finding
are
a triple hanger. I don't
wicked.
even think I've found a double hanger yet.
I've got a double. It's actually it's dang near BU, and it was part of those Canadians that I got.
Nice.
Gold, Circuit Gold asked you what. Well, never mind. You
Yeah,
go through
I
it.
just answered them. It's a 69 Canadian dime, which has a large and small date.
We
So
find a few down here, those Canadians.
You know
the other
what?
thing you always want to check is with your 69s, your dimes, your quarters, your half dollars, and your dollars. You want to check them with a magnet.
Amy, is the 69, is that clad or silver?
Clad.
Oh.
68, well, 67 is when they went from 80% to 50% silver. So they have both in circulation. You would
Because
have to, if
my
it's, you
my
really wouldn't know
LCS
which one it is
has
without weighing it. And if it's really worn, you're not going to know.
my LCS has a box of like just all their miscellaneous coins that they throw in. So
Uh-huh.
I always dig through there to find world coins, foreign coins. There we go. That's the word I'm looking
Yeah.
for. And they have just a ton of Canadian in there.
Nice.
Like I wonder if I could find some of those six, because I know they have Canadian dimes in there. I know that. They even have Canadian quarters in there, which I thought is kind of ironic, but whatever. And all the coins are 10 for $1 or 15 cents each. So
Oh, I
yeah.
would be like, you just give me the damn box. I'll give you the damn box.
Right.
She done took it off.
So I might have to go down there and just see how many of those I can score.
Amy,
Yeah,
you need to have one
absolutely.
night a week teaching Canadian stuff if
Well,
you
I mean,
had time.
but the general numismatics is almost the same as all of the American coins. Like you're still gonna have die clashes, you're still gonna have planchet errors, you're still gonna have double dies. Although double dies for Canadians are not documented at all. You
They look, and I've noticed this too with those. I'm sorry to interrupt, but with double dies on Canadians, you really have to be able to get in there unless it's something severe, because the way that the coins, the designs, they don't tend to bubble out like ours kind of bubble out, if that makes sense. Sometimes the double die kind of looks like it's
Oh, the
on
extra
our sense,
thickness.
it's
Yeah.
kind of rounded. It's a little extra bubble to it, I don't know how else to explain that. And with Canadians, they can look very flat and they can look machined. And they're not actually machines, they're actual double dies. So you really have to be able to get in there and really look at them good to know whether it's machined or a double die on the Canadians.
But other than that, like basically, I mean, they're gonna have the same process errors that all of the American coins have. They have the um all of the alloy mixtures. They have the clashes.
Brockages,
Yeah.
they get all of that same stuff. It's pretty much the exact same minting process. They just have different designs and different dyes, so things are going to look differently. But that's like what I was talking about during the last coin seminar, is that when I actually decided that I was going to start looking at my Canadian cents like they were American pennies, then I actually started finding stuff. Because before that I was trying to figure out, what is it going to look like? What should I be looking for? And I wasn't really paying attention to the things that you pay attention to. Your spots and your dies that are going to break first, your spots and the dies that are going to be more likely to have doubling, things like that. So There's all kinds to find. Lots that hasn't been found yet. They just found, I want to say it was in October or November of last year, of 2018. And they just found a new variety on a 1908 Canadian large cent.
Cool.
So there's lots of stuff I can guarantee that just has not even been found yet. People love, it's a smaller niche in the coin collecting community. So
Yeah.
there's not as many people looking at them.
We found
Well,
a King
that and
George one night.
the documentation
Somebody,
doesn't exist.
true.
Yeah,
I mean, you
there's
look at the documentation on double dyes and known varieties, and I mean, just the Lincoln sense, like, Rick Snow has all this stuff for the Flyers and the Indian heads, and there are multiple books on those. There's multiple authoritative references on the Lincoln sense. There's 4 different websites that have listings. There's cross references that have like 7 different cross reference numbers between cherry pickers and Wexlers and copper coins and Variety Vista and Neem and like all these other things. And then you go to the Canadian coins and like what's there? Like who really
right.
has anything?
Well, a lot of the stuff that I find is old. Zoll is the big one, and he's the one who kind of really footed the Canadian variety and errors. And what the last thing he did was in 1966, I believe. A lot has been found since then. I know, I want to say his name is Rob Turner. He has a book out that you can buy, but it's like a $250, $300 book. It's humongous. And so, you got Haxby, but it's not, like you said, it's nowhere near what American coinage is.
Right.
And it's the same thing with me trying to go through UK coinage and find different things. And it's like pulling teeth trying to get any information. And then when there is information, they want to get paid to give you that information.
True.
Which that's about as frustrating as you can be. And it's like, look, dude, no. No.
We was going through pennies one night and we found a King George and it had 2 holes in it on each side. That made my nieces mad. They said,
Really?
who's these dummies that wants to put holes in something that's old?
I hope you schooled them on why those holes are in there.
I told them most of the time they try to make necklaces or something out of them.
Well,
or they sewed them into their
they
clothes.
sewed them into their
or the clothing or something's what I told them. But they didn't like it.
When people lose buttons.
I like the hold coins because it's just a little more history to it. I bought I think it was an 1886 fish scale, so Canadian 5 cent off of eBay, 99 cents. I paid like $3 for shipping. Not even, I don't think. I basically scored like a $15 coin, even with a hole in it, for under $4. But I didn't care it had the hole. To me, it was just a little more history to it.
They ain't got, well, the oldest one gets that part, but the youngest one don't get it yet. Because the oldest one's a history buff. That's all she thinks about.
Oh, that's good though.
Yeah, it's the history that the ones that have a history are the coolest ones. Those are the ones when you can track down, whatever history piece and be like, okay, this, like I got an email, I can't remember who it was from. They sent me an email that had pictures of a coin, and this coin was like a kind of like a
token commemorative piece, whatever. And on the back of it, it actually says that this coin was struck using the first coin press or something like that. And I was like, man, that's got to be some just wicked history right there.
That's awesome.
Let's see if I can find it. Oh, yeah, right here. Okay, so let's see. I think JC Will sent me this. So I don't know what coin that was used, or if it was a coin that was used. But it's got Our Father's Prayer on the back, and on the front it says struck in the main building of the International Exposition, Philadelphia, on the first steam coin press used by the U.S. Mint, coining press by the U.S. Mint.
Sweet.
Like, how crazy would that be?
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it says 1877 on it is what it says. So the first steam coining press. Like, that is just a wicked history. But like the coin, it looks like that it struck on like a dime or something, because it's got a reeded edge on it, and it's like, man, like what was that? I mean, it could just be like, just not a coin previously, and it was just, struck. But man, how cool would that be if that was an actual like dime or something that got restruck as this token piece?
I think it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. That would be a heck of a lot of fun. Heck a lot of fun.
Just to research it would be too, just to find out exactly where it was made,
absolutely,
where the place was. Like we talked that one night about with Indian heads we find and stuff in boxes. Like, wonder how they get there. Wonder where they been.
Yeah, and
who had them back in the old days.
That's what I like, picking up these kind of off the wall ones. Like, I picked up a so-called dollar from Robert Lawson, and it was basically it was on like a 1904 World's Fair piece. Like, it wasn't a true, but it was like a restrike or something like that. But the concept still exists, that that some of those coins, like the video that I did on the 20-cent piece, that was just a heyday to research. Because there was a lot of things that had to go in place, that had to fall into place in order for that coin to even be minted. And then after it was minted, it was so similar to the quarter at the time. I mean, it had nearly the exact same design, front and back, that the quarter did, that it was like people hated it. And so the majority of those coins got pulled back to the mint, San Francisco, and was melted. So the fact is that, like, basically any coins that still exist were not part of those that got pulled back to the mint and melted.
Yeah, I remember that.
So then any coins that still that exist are, that are like $100, like bottom $100, because they were only minted for 2 years. For circulation, they were minted a total of 4 years. The following 2 years, they were only doing proofs. But with that kind of thing, and they have done the entire history of the die pairs, the die marriages, and there's a chart, and there's only a certain number of elements that exist on the coin, and you can pick out exactly which die pairs were used to strike the coin that you have in your hand. And the craziest thing is that like that the total mintage was not that great. So those die pairs had only minted, we'll say for sake of numbers, 150,000 coins out of it's probably less than that, but sake of numbers. That so that your coin, that it's not just one of 2 million that was minted. It's actually only one of 150,000. Like that's crazy sauce.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you compare it to like what the mintage numbers on let's do the 1909, because that is always like the one that
Hard.
comes up. It's right here in front of me. Oh, there. So 1909 S, right? The 1909 SVDB, which is the grandmaster of all, still had a mintage of 484,000. So you're talking that's rare. Now you've got a coin that is one of only 150,000 that were ever even minted. Like, you got a significantly rare coin.
Yep.
So I think that aspect is just phenomenally like awesome. I mean, because to get to mintages of that, I mean, you gotta go back. I mean, even the Indians in 1909 S was still 300,000. Where do we get
There's a lot of
100?
Indians. There's a lot of them made by the mintages.
Right, except for the 1909 S. There was
Yeah.
only 300,000 minted. So, like, I mean, let's see, Indian heads.
How many was the Flying Eagles? Was there a lot of? I can't
The
remember the.
Flying Eagles, 1857, 17.4 million.
See, you wouldn't think that many would have been made of them.
Right. I mean, and you can look at anything, and everything is like the hardest one in the Indians is 1877 with the lowest mintages of 852,000, and to get anywhere near, I mean, even the key dates in the Lincoln Cent series, like the 1931 S, 866,000, like you have mintage numbers. I mean, the 1909 SVDB, 484,000. Those mintage numbers are 4 times
As big as that one.
what that 1 20-cent one is. Because actually, let's look at, because I remember it was a 75. Yeah, 1875, and it's an 1875 S. So total mintage for the 1875 S was 1.1 million. And they had something like 14 die pairs. So what's I'm gonna be really bad at calculations right now because reasons. So divided by, so I mean roughly 157,000.
No, that's
So
low mintage.
that is, and you've got the 1875 Carson City, 133,000. And even if you had one of those, even in good, you're looking at $300. So the
Yeah.
1875 S, which has the highest mintage by a far margin, because they needed that small change on the West Coast. That's why it was created. Still looking at $100 for a good, roughly it's like 100 125. But when you look at mintage numbers and survival rates. Like these things, the survival rates is like 300. So it started off being a super rare coin, being 1 in 157,000, and then you just jacked it up by 100 years, 150 years, because you threw in the survival rates.
Yeah.
So what is the coin facts? Coin facts. Where would the 20 cent be? It's one of those weird ones that doesn't have like its own thing. Territorial, colonials, quarters, 20 cents. There it is. They have it in with quarters. 1875S. So 1875S, we're talking survival rates, all grades, 25,000.
Wow.
So for all, and that's for all grades, and that's all die pairings too, because that's all of them. So the coin that I have would be like 1 in like 5,000, roughly.
That's amazing to have there.
Isn't that crazy?
Mm-hmm.
And like, and the best thing is that you can find coins like this all day long. You can find coins like half dimes or seeded dimes that when you actually look at the mintage numbers and the survival rates, they are fractional of what they are. And like you can pick up, a seeded Liberty dime for 10, 15 bucks. Well,
Yep.
how affordable is 10 or 15 bucks? Shit, most people spend more than that in coffee a day.
Yep.
You got like the let's just pick one. Let's pick 1860, 1838, 1838. I don't know. That's a no stars. 1838. I can't remember which one that I have. Let's do no stars, large date. So original mintage was 682,000, which is a lot. But then you look at the survival rates, all grades 1,700. Like, obviously, like, all grades of the 1837. That was the first year that the dime came out. But and Ken has talked about this a bunch of times, where you look at some of the mintage numbers, and the survival rates of some of these other coins, like the half dime and the seeded dime, that are relatively cheap. They're inexpensive. Like you still get them, VGXF around that range. Maybe $20. But when you compare the metrics to that coin to all of these other coins that people talk about, like these other coins that are phenomenally like affordable are technically, metrically 10 times more rare than the other ones that people are talking about.
The ones that people are wanting.
Right. And people aren't even looking at these other ones. Like even snow varieties in the flyers and the Indian heads. On more than one occasion, I have cherry picked flyers based off of double dies or die clashes. And I could pick them up for like 25, 25 something, $30 is about average. And already I have a $60 coin because I know what it is based off of, what it actually is, or based off of what it's listed as, because a lot of the times they just list them as 1857 flyers and they don't notice any of the other pieces on it. Like
They don't take
the
time to look at it. They just list it to try to make a
yeah,
dollar.
like the muled clashes, or a lot of it is that just people don't know, and that's where we go back to the dimes and the half dimes, stuff like that people don't know because it's not something that is regularly talked about. Like people talk about the Lincoln cents, and we all know that people talk about the Lincoln cents, the 2017 P's, the W's. Like people talk about the cents because they're super affordable, and if you can find one of these varieties, then you can basically multiply your profit by 1,000-fold. What about this other stuff? It's a little bit more expensive than a penny. You can't find it in circulation, but it's just sitting there.
I'm gonna jump off here, guys. I gotta run up to the store real quick, and the
Okay,
snow's
Amy.
starting to fly again, so I want to get
All
up
right.
there. But
Okay, we'll see you later, Amy.
yes, have a good night, guys. Thank you for inviting me.
See you, Amy. Thanks for coming.
Bye.
So, yeah, it's just one of those things that it's I think about kind of the big picture about these other these other pieces, and it was like, man, there are so many other things that people just aren't even getting into and aren't even looking at or talking about. I mean, the varieties as far as dealers, like dealers don't deal in varieties, and there's a multitude of reasons why they don't get into varieties. But that's where we as educated coin collectors, like we have opened the floodgates, and it is not stopping anytime soon, because there are a lot more people that are getting smarter, and with better videos and pictures, and the way that we are explaining things to people that raise the bar for knowledge in the coins, that how much easier would it be to to do, maybe start documenting Canadians, like a better understanding of the clashes.
Yeah.
Because I did some graphics manipulation for Amy on some clashes. I just found some pictures, and then I kind of put them into, like, kind of put them in together so that they would line up, and now she's got a solid picture of what where the lines would show up on a clash, and where it would be and what it would look like. And like those kind of things, that how much easier would it be if you took a bunch of people that we're all into the same thing and that wanted to help put together these references, than just a single person like Haxby, like Brain, like Five Ant Stanton, like all of these people that are just doing it solo. How much easier and faster and more accurate, more up to date, that these references would be if we had a community of people working on it together.
Yep.
Just mind blown right there. Just poosh, gone.
Mhm.
And that's I feel like it's really easy to say, and it is really easy to say, not so much in practice, but that's just kind of the way the way things go. But I mean, the possibility exists out there, hands down, by far. It's waiting. It's waiting for the right group of people to come together, and just to throw that match, because that's all it's going to take.
It's true.
Yeah. And exactly what Smokey says is that increasing the information about the varieties, that will create markets for these coins.
Yep, it will. And it'll make people know what they're looking for easier too. Especially
Right, and
kids
that's
that
why,
might
like,
get kids into looking at things more.
And as far as like the tools, that's why I'm so about making the tools. I want to make it easier for people to understand. And if I can use my skills to break down these, you know, more complex issues, even if it takes me a few steps, then that's what I want to do, because the more that the easier that we can make it is going to be better for everyone, but also that helps me understand it better, because I would completely do my own like coin press. You know, I just build one here in my apartment just to understand how the thing works. Because that's I want to see it. I want to see what it looks like. I want to see what it's doing. I want to see it. And a lot of people are very visual like that, and it makes more sense like that versus things that are just talked about or that are explained. I mean, if somebody and everybody learns differently, and if somebody explained it to me, I would get kind of the general idea. I might grasp like a couple of concepts about it,
Mm-hmm.
but I wouldn't fully like 100% like understand it until I actually started putting the physical pieces in my hands and saying, okay, so for a clash die, this is what's causing it, is that these dies are coming together and they're striking with nothing in between them. That's what a clash die is. And that's why when you have a clash die like on the Lincolns, then you can see basically on the front of the coin, you're seeing the jail bars, because those are the bays that are on the reverse, and it's upside down because that's the way our coinage is oriented. On the Canadians, it's just flipped sideways. It's not up down.
Yeah.
So their clashes are going to be different in that respect, but the process of striking the coins is exactly the same. Now you get into stuff where it's like off-center coins. Off-center coins is where a coin is struck outside of the collar, um, and the design on both the obverse and the reverse um, are off-centered. Otherwise, it would just be a misaligned die. Um, so how to like, and I can explain that. And if you know, like, if you could
You could
generally
show
have,
it.
yeah, if somebody has a general understanding of, there's this spot where the planchette goes into, that it sits into, and then two dies strike in that space, and that's how you get the coin. And if it's not in that space and then it gets struck, then that's what causes the off-centered. Now, if I can make something and show that, man, there would be a lot of people that just mind blow just immediately, because then when you heard off-centered, that's what you would picture. Is that you would picture exactly what I showed, or Robert or Ken or like whoever, um, that would be the first thing that came to your mind. But then you would have the visual, like memory of, okay, that's what it is. This is what causes it.
You can make little coins and have ones that's off centered. You could make them showing DDOs and all
I
kinds
have,
of stuff.
I have, I've already done um, dies and hubs. I've made double dies, class one double dies, which is a rotated. I have done those. I've done a cud, like a broken die. I've done those. Repunchment marks. I've done those. I am kind of tinkering with an idea. It's just something that I just wrote down in my notes in my head. To make a, what's it called? It's called a sunken die, or it's called a subsided die. That's what it is. And basically, think of a what's the best way to put this? The face of a die that has a piece, an area that is actually sunken in.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Like
that makes sense to
if
me.
you
But
were to step in sand, your footprint in the sand, um, that would be the area that's sunken in, and basically there's a defect in the die metal, and it collapsed on itself. So like if there was a bubble or something in it and it
yeah,
collapsed, well, now that die face isn't flat anymore. Now it's got that sunken part. And what that is going to cause is that is going to cause some strange areas of deformation on your coin that is being struck with this die. Um, and it's going to deform on the side of the subsided die. But the other thing that it's going to show is on the opposite side of the coin, since there's not two flat planes, it's going to affect the style of strike on the opposite side because it's going to be mushier. It's not going to be as clean. Does that make
yeah,
sense?
yep,
So I was thinking about just having like like two pieces of die that I basically make a full die. Only I could kind of unscrew part of it and make that section of die sit back a little bit, or maybe slide back a little bit, so that it would show the weakness in the strike with that subsided die. I don't know. It was just something I was playing with, and I thought it was just, because unless you had an entire explanation, like you would never know what a subsided die is or what it would look like on a coin.
nope,
I wouldn't. I wouldn't even know. Like I would say, hey, this looks funny. I still wouldn't even know that it was struck with a subsided die. I have no idea. I mean, I've probably seen one and I threw it back because I'm like, hey, it's just damaged. I, I don't know.
a lot of people has.
And so if I can make something that actually shows that, that's going to teach me how to do that too. That's gonna teach me what specifically I need to look for, and what it looks like on a coin. Because the thing with a subsided die is that it could be anywhere. It could be anywhere on the coin. There's no set area where a subsidence would be. It could be on the edge of the coin that would lead to a die crack and then a cud where the part of the die breaks off that started with a subsided die. Like, don't know. Don't know. But I think it would be cool to find, to build examples on, for these different things that we talk about.
Yeah, it would. It'd be easier for one person learns something, they can always teach it to somebody else.
Right. And
Like
as
you
long
made
as
that
that
one.
as that original one is a solid understanding, that's the key. That if they have a solid understanding of what it is, then they can teach the right information. Because the last thing I want to do is for me to put out anything, or for really anybody else to put out anything that is not accurate. I don't want people saying that, hey, this coin is this, when I know that there's no way that can even occur.
Yep, that's true. Because you don't want me mislead or misteach somebody something and then end up not being right.
Right. So, but if I can build the pieces that make the errors, I know that it is a thing, that I can explain and that I can show, because we know that these things actually exist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Whew, I talk a lot. Wow. Oh, brutal. Let's see. We got.
We know you can do it. You just have to take your time and do it right. That's all it is. Make sure
Yeah,
you got it
and a
exactly the
lot
way
of it
you want it
is
and not rush
trying
it.
is trying to figure out the individual pieces on how I'm gonna do it. Because like what I would like to do is I would like to design the entire thing in 3D. Like that would be the best way to do it is to start there, and then say if I wanted to like actual print it out, then I could take, what do they call them, half cuts.
Mm-hmm.
There's another term for that, but um
I know what you're talking about, though.
yeah, to basically cut it in half and print it out in 3-dimensional so that I could put it down flat, put a camera over the top of it and then run through exactly how it works.
That'd be neat.
Yeah, back of my head.
And at
Ugh.
the small date, large date, there'll be a lot of people want that because they'll use it as references when they're coin roll hunting and everything else. And
Yeah,
then they'll have the little set too.
I think that this setup is going to be really good. I just got to get the dates in, and then I might have to refine my holes a little bit because I did some calibrations on my printer. But maybe tonight or tomorrow I'll run a test piece and
And if
see.
somebody else wants something specially made about it, if they want it made just like we said to put the capsule in it, you can make it that way for them. All you got
Yeah,
to
I
do is
mean,
move
once
the
I have the
dimension,
the general design, then any modifications is going to be really easy to do.
and they can put their own cover over it. Just like we said, you can get a piece of plastic and screw it down on it or just sell if they want it like that, or buy
Yeah,
the case and put it in their case themselves. And Ken said you could make it like a sheet and have binders, have holes, and have it like that. Then put your plastic over it, like they did that one book.
yeah.
He
Well, I
wrote that
mean,
on there.
the other thing is that depending on how thick this is and the kind of setting that I put these that I have these holes, like I could actually put the holes in here to fit a 3-ring binder. So you could
Yep.
actually just put this thing in your 3-ring binder. How much crazy
Good.
sauce would that be?
Be neat. Be
Especially
easy for
like
you to do it too.
on with this extra space, I could move stuff over and put a couple of holes on the left side, and it
Yep.
would take the top and the middle holes on your 3-ring binder, and you just put it right in there. Hey, there's another idea right there. See that?
Mm-hmm.
Magic. Oh man. All right, I'm gonna get off here. Ken is coming up here in how much time?
We'll be on anytime. 8:30.
Anytime.
Is that what it is?
I don't know if he's doing auction tonight or if he's doing coin class.
8:30 or 9?
Yeah, it's either 8:30 or 9. Because I was looking up earlier. Friday Night Madness starts in 45 minutes.
It'd be about 9 o'clock here.
Yeah.
It'd be about 6 o'clock.
So
Well,
yeah,
about,
9
about 6
p.m.
o'clock out there.
Eastern time on the West Coast. So it would be 45 minutes away. So get your dinner in and sit back and relax and get ready for Ken. So thank you everybody that came in and hung out, helping me design something for the community. I appreciate it a lot. Hit the like button before you take off. If you are watching this and you are not subscribed, please subscribe. I'm going for the 1,000 because we all want to be at 1,000 because all the cool kids are.
I need you a shout out.
What's that?
I need you a shout out.
Oh, did you? Cool. Thanks, man.
Thanks for having me again.
Yeah. Now that I've got it figured out, I'll definitely do more of the Hangouts. It's a lot easier than what I thought it is. So, yeah. Thanks to everybody for coming in, and I will talk to you guys later.
Good night. We'll see
Have a
you
great
later.
have a great night.